Welcome to the Breakthrough Sessions. Let's start making art fearlessly and create things that only you can make. This week we're going to talk about making time for creativity. This is something that seems to be a problem across the board for everybody, even me. In my creative community, this is something that's talked about. Sometimes people will stop their subscription to my group because they'll say, I just don't have time to do this. So I believe that this is something that we really need to talk about. Finding time to paint is going to be something that you have to really do purposefully. You're going to have to make time to paint. I know that all of us are busy, especially if you are a woman, if you still have children at home, if you have a husband, if you have a house to keep up, if you have meals to cook. All of those things are part of our daily lives. But we make time for the things that we really want to do, right? So that may not be what you want to hear, but we make time for what we really want to do. When I started painting, I did it as a hobby. I wasn't teaching anyone. I wasn't really doing anything other than just painting for the fun of it. And when I did that, I began doing that in the evening. I was homeschooling 2 elementary age children. I was working at home. I was still keeping up with everything, just like I still do. But my day was full. And what I did was, once everyone was settled, maybe someone was watching television or playing a video game or doing whatever, that was the time that I took for myself late in the evening to just sit at my desk and paint, experiment, try things. And that's really how I got started. So it may not have even been every single day, but I set a time in the evenings just for me to try things, to play with paint. And that's how I got a lot of paintings under my belt, a lot of miles on my palette knife. So making a certain time of day that you turn into like a habit, and making sure that you get your work done that you need to do, and you have that certain time of day. It's usually going to be in the evenings for most of us women. That's just the way it usually works out. Because if you have an outside of the home job, if you have a home and children to take care of during the day, all that is going to take up your time. So plan, make a time that's just for you, and then stick with it. So you have to choose, and maybe early in the morning is better for you. But you have to choose a certain time where you're going to make sure that you have that creative time. And it doesn't have to be a very long time. It can just be a few minutes a day. But what's going to happen is, if you have a daily practice, and when I say daily, just as much as possible, if you have a practice where you are being creative on a regular basis, you're going to grow. You're going to grow in huge amounts in your skills, in your self-discipline, in your creativity, because once you get started, then it's easier to keep going. And it's like you build up some sort of momentum, and you're going to want to paint more. The getting started is the hardest part. So plan a time. Make sure that you get things done during the day so that you can have that little bit of quiet time at night or first thing in the morning. And set that time just for you. Make it a habit, and it will really pay off. So when I started this idea of doing these videos for you, I started thinking that I thought I wanted to name this series Just Start, because that's really where it all begins. You just got to start and not be afraid to start. So whether it is just playing with some watercolors for 10 minutes, or putting down some backgrounds on several different canvases for 15 minutes, just those short periods of time over time they're going to really add up, and they're really going to help you a whole lot. So picking a time of day that's best for you and working in short bursts of creativity, it may even be better for you than having a whole day on a Saturday to paint. Because when you're painting something a little bit at a time, it gives you time in between to think and come up with new ideas. And you may be at work during the day, and you may think of something that you could add to a painting that you're going to go home and work on that night. So doing those short little bursts of creativity throughout your week may help you to be a little more creative than if you spent a whole day working on it just once a week. So block out some time during your week, whether it's 10 minutes, 30 minutes, doesn't matter how much time you spend, because the benefits that you're going to reap from just making time to be creative are going to pay off big time. So I'll give you your assignment, and let's get to work this week with finding time to be creative.